Welcome back to another Real Talk reaction. This one is for Westworld, Season 2, Episode number 6.
Yes, before we get to Episode 6, I have 2 patrons who left comments about Episode 5.
Okay.
Both longtime supporters, Lysith and Christina. First, Lysith having said, love the reaction, guys. This was an epic episode. I loved everything about this episode. And what happened to Teddy will be revealed in the next episode.
Okay.
The Shogun world was brilliant to see, and all the similarities between characters was epic, and we got to see Maeve's new powers. So here's a quick breakdown of her powers. All hosts have a subconscious link to the closest host around them. Maeve was in close proximity to all of the hosts she controlled in this episode. She used the mesh network to access them. Maeve is able to wield the mesh network to her own advantage because, if you guys can remember, Felix and Sylvester boosted her attributes to the maximum in Season 1. The longer she's able to hang onto those attributes and the longer she's exposed to other hosts, the more powerful she's likely to become. Can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was a great explanation. Appreciate that, Lysith. That helped. Yeah. That did help. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. It's
definitely feel like Mesh, a.k.a. The Matrix, very similar.
I like that technical analogy.
Yeah, that was a great
Mesh.
explanation. Then Miss Christina Jones goes on to say, this episode was a writer's dream. I agree it didn't advance any plots, but that's what I liked most about it. Maeve and Dolores are still the only true woke hosts in the park, as they've both completely overcome their programming, but now they find themselves in the position of awakening others. And boy, do they diverge. Recall Arnold said consciousness is now a journey upward but inward. That's what this episode was. Dolores thinks the ugly truth of their existence is liberating, and once liberated, she assumes rage and vengeance will be the path, and Teddy challenges that. Yes, at first he's appalled as she tosses his trauma at him, but now that he is starting to have a say, his choice isn't what she expects.
Yeah.
And that frustrates her, and she wonders if even her feelings for him is a choice, consummation time. However, accepting that her feelings are real, she simply chooses not to allow him that choice because the dream is unsustainable to her, so she changes him to save him from how she views the other lost souls who just won't make it, in her opinion. It's very fucking controlling. For her being trying to liberate people, it's not really giving him any choice in the matter. Tips her on that's not cool, Dolores' side, and this is before, which is exactly what I just said. And this is before we see her kill some Indians and callously dismiss Clem's pain even though she understands it. Her nature-nurturing avenue is only what she's been taught. Maeve, on the other hand, was a mother, homesteader. The majority of her life was on the more family-friendly side of the park. Sidebar, recall Ford told Bernard he is allowed to hold the gun, not fire it, but in her narrative, she was allowed to take notes until she became fully conscious once her daughter was killed. Ford then made her the madam to know your enemy, but her awakening came via Felix, a human with capacity to feel empathy for her, which taught her something Dolores hasn't encountered. That's true.
Yeah.
She also tried revenge, but love won out. Chains aren't just chains, but people. Empathizing with them, hence her journey with Akani, is an advancement in understanding who she is becoming or wants to become. However, she is still attached to finding her daughter and finding a place to be in the new world instead of fighting for those people.
Yeah, she is attached to that.
They are two sides of the same coin. I probably typed too much. I'm afraid to scroll up because I can go on to see how beautifully the dichotomy played out with the women. Fun tidbit, both women defeated evil armies. The Confederate and Shogun armies were not historically great guys.
No, that's true. That's true.
That's a great tidbit.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang's Clan Cream was a song Akani was dancing to. Lysith explained the mesh network perfectly, but Maeve didn't max out her stats, only her bulk apperception, which is overall intelligence. So yeah, she can recode the mesh network. Neo is the best way to explain it. She is the one.
Yeah.
But she lowered her pain and her loyalty, citing abuse of it. If I recall correct, she stayed around the same on her others, which were already high in charm, manipulation, and reading people. Great comments, great insight, as always. Totally appreciate you guys. Yeah. And we don't mind if they're long. I just might mess up some of the reading, so you have to deal with that. But we appreciate the comments nonetheless, especially
the full backstory.
Especially when we aren't grasping exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
so that
it's deep.
helps.
It's really deep.
Yes. But without further ado, let's jump into episode 6 right now.
She's the fucking boss. She can take them places that we don't even have access to.
Yep.
Taylor, give him up.
Let's go.
Don't make that face, Dolores. You did it.
I said make him hard. Not that hard. Damn.
That's a whole hot mess, babe. Now
Come
you're
on,
now
man.
it's too much. Like this is your hot mess.
Now he's out of control.
Here we go. Oh, his arm's off.
That one do the head too. Everybody can go with me now. Let's go.
Would you really stoop this low for it? You really gunning for me this hard?
Made my own daughter into a host.
I think you've been out in the sun a little too long.
Yeah, you can change the rules all you want. I'm still gonna play the game my way.
Oh, he thinks
Yeah.
she's a host?
The only game I'm interested in playing is get the fuck out of Dodge.
That's probably why they care so much when they die, because it's a whole do you gotta do after you die to make sure you are honored.
Put it off.
You think that's probably what it is? You think she fucking
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know what game you're playing at, but
Yeah.
having my daughter be a host. He thinks Ford's still fucking with him.
Tell the difference.
Yeah, she might not know that. This motherfucker going.
Alright.
He go deep. He's trying to fuck with me.
Give it to me. Let this place finish burning behind us. That means you and I are even.
We'll talk about it in the morning when I'm not here.
It'll be a good start.
And then I guess we'll start walking it sun up.
And he's gonna be gone.
Well, now if he thinks she's a host.
Fuck.
Taking his thing off.
Oh, he got the marble.
I know this place. It was my home. You can wait for me here,
You come charging in there if you see anything wrong.
but let me bring him up.
Right? Yeah, there ain't nobody here. So that's that squad now. Then we got Dolores and squad over there. Oh, then you got this guy.
She's a robot.
Well, I called him a host this time.
I'm saying you same as you.
Trying to be respectful. Probably got blood on him.
Hello?
Mama!
Oh jeez.
Here we go.
That makes more sense.
Who is this bitch?
Can I help you?
Oh, the old boy forget to tell her that we
I mean,
added
he
somebody else?
probably doesn't remember every single thing.
Oh. Well, maybe he had nothing to do with it.
Welcome, by the way.
That seems like that's like the boringest part of the park right there. That little area. Like, who pays to come to that one? Or unless you just like being attacked by Indians. You know what I mean? Just go to WESTWORLD. I don't know what else you can do there. It's just a house and a farm.
I should run from this place. You think that's right?
I don't give a fuck.
I never thought I'd want to leave.
You fuck what your daddy said.
I suppose you fixed that too.
Oh, Teddy know what happened.
We're almost
See
done.
that face? That's that. Okay, Teddy, be mad if you want to, but I hate
Let's
it.
turn her loose.
So it's safe to say he probably don't really like her as much as he did before she fixed him. Right? Man, you don't try to bust that damn window? Oh, it must be that train. Yeah, okay, it's that.
They just
Yeah.
exploded it.
What the hell was that?
Okay, so they right now. There you go.
Ugh.
Oh, 44.
Hello, old friend.
So
Told
he's,
you
so
it
he's
was big.
still the one that's writing all this stuff.
Alright, that was episode 6, and obviously, as I assumed in the beginning here, Ford would not have just killed himself voluntarily for nothing. He is in it for the long game, long game, long game. What's the game? Don't know. Why is the game? Don't know. What's the ending of the game? We have no clue whatsoever. But now we just seen him in there. But this is still confusing to me. Maybe it's not to some of y'all. Maybe it's not to you, babe. But it is still confusing to me because of the time jumping around and whatnot and going back and forth. So I'm not really unsure what we trying to get to other than Dolores and them. I know what they're trying to get to. They're trying to just take over this whole thing and get out to the real world. Other than that, I don't know what Ford's ultimate plan is at all.
So I think, yeah, I'm glad there was something that led to Bernard, because I was like, why are we doing this? What is the point? But it makes sense because they were trying to figure out who's the ultimate person that's sending all the messages. Now, by tapping into the matrix, so to speak, he's visually able to see
core.
that Ford, or the mesh,
Or the mesh.
that Ford is in fact still the one that's obviously sending out the message in some capacity. So I guess some of his, I don't know how that works, how his like conscious is still within the mesh or whatever. But he's obviously the one that's sending out the messages, and you can only see that if you're tapped into, which was the purpose of Bernard tapping into it. So my thought is that Bernard made the little brain cell thingy, which was Ford's consciousness, which is what he put into Hyde, which is now we can see Hyde. So we saw him pocketing the ball in his pocket on that one scene. That was Ford's consciousness he just made, and I think that's how he put it into Hive, or the Hive, so that they could start running it. So that's what I'm assuming.
And that Ford that we seen taking the marble and putting it into the Hive.
You mean Bernard?
Bernard. What I'm saying, that's the Bernard or Arnold.
Arnold is dead. That's
Arnold is the human,
years.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no more Arnold. So it's safe to say that Bernard, since we know he's a host, he put the marble into the Hive. He could have been coded to do that.
Yes,
by
100%.
Ford, right?
Yeah.
So Ford wanted him to do that anyway. That's what it was going to always be.
Yes.
Okay.
So also now we see how the whole tunnel got exploded, because again, when you jump to the future, when Bernard is with the military people and they're coming back, it's all been exploded and everything else. Now we got to see Dolores and the train were the ones that exploded it. So that's what just literally happened while Elsie's there with Bernard figuring out that Ford is the one that's ultimately sending the messages. So cool. That makes sense.
How does he wash up on the beach? We don't know yet.
I mean, that's still, we haven't got there yet,
Okay.
but we're good up until somewhat this point. I feel like that there's a little bit of clarity on like where the pieces kind of fall. But that's one thing with the timeline, the Bernard situation. But going back to Dolores and Maeve, I super appreciated Christina's comments on the last episode because it was glaringly obvious this episode the contrast between both Dolores and Maeve as far as Maeve's empathy for the characters versus Dolores. Now, even Dolores is like mannerisms toward Teddy and how she almost seems annoyed that he's too hard now is pissing me off. Yeah. It's like, girl, this is all your... And I love Teddy's like, well, you broke that, you fixed that guy, and like his like almost condescension and like throwing it in her face, like this is how you wanted me to be, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if like that means he is super aware of like what took place. Yeah. And yet still doesn't have the control of like being who he wants to be because she forced whatever personality on him. He seems to be really mad about it. So he seems like pissed about it.
So I would expect him to turn on Dolores at some point. So that's still up in the air as a possibility. And yeah, we got 2 squads going on. Actually 3 because we got the Man in Black too. We got his squad going on looking for something. But the 2 main squads are probably going to converge on each other. It's going to be Dolores and Maeve squad. So
I don't see why they would come together though. Maeve doesn't have any purpose at all.
They both probably are going to just probably by mistake meet up at the point of getting out of the
maybe. I don't see why those 2 would. Unless, maybe like you're saying, by accident.
They won't stay separate forever.
They have no cause together at all. But
No, they won't come together. They might have a little conflict, though, when they both meet up again in the future, trying to get out this park or whatever, because they're going to meet up again. They're just not all going to stay apart.
And then the Man in Black with his daughter, I think it's hilarious. He's like, Ford's trying to get me again, make my daughter a host. I thought that was really great.
So that's not the kind. They didn't have that conversation at the fire. I thought that was going to come out there. That maybe he would hear something that only she would know and be like, "Oh, okay, you're not real." Nope, that didn't happen yet. So that's still to happen. Maybe, I don't know.
I think he's just like he'd rather believe that she's a host and go on and do his own thing. He doesn't want to be like.
Yeah, he don't want to go back. He want to do this game right here. He committed.
So I thought it was a good episode. It definitely progressed the storyline too. Like you said, though, there's lots of questions and still lots of things to figure out.
Another surprise ending right there, but another one that leaves you like, I gotta come back and finish.
And also, like, the genius and strategy of Ford is, like, fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah,
like,
this guy is
insane.
He must have had a lot of time on his hands.
He must have, that's all he did for his entire life is plot this out.
That was since he started thinking about doing Robot Town. It's like, this is how I'm gonna end it.
Right, crazy.
So, it is crazy. Alright, well look, thank you guys again for watching another Real Talk reaction for Westworld Season 2, Episode number 6. And until next time, people, peace.